Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we provide you with conservative views, and which are pretty much factual. And this is an opinion show, so we're going to give you the facts, ma'am, and set you straight and tell you what's going on in the world and all the way down to the local level. So let's get this show going. Let's welcome my friend all the way from the upper northeast, somewhere in that blue state, New York. Let's welcome Charles Galuski.
Hey,
Welcome,
Art.
welcome.
Hey,
Howdy,
everybody in the
howdy.
chat. Howdy doody.
Yep. So, how's the weather out there? Is it better than it was yesterday?
Well, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. It has been beautiful, bright, and sunny out most of the day, but it is extraordinarily humid.
Ah,
So it's hot, it's humid. You may actually see me glisten during the show. So don't worry, I'm not actually melting. I just look like I'm melting.
well, it is a nice day here. Very nice. Uh, went to do some flying today, and I couldn't get my Avada to work.
Uh-oh.
I was trying to bind it to the goggles, and it just would not bind. I mean, this is not the police auction drone. That works. Got that flying. I just went to fly my regular Avada, to switch it back, and could not get it to go. And then I thought, okay, what the heck? Let's try with the Air 2. And I had issues with that drone. So I said, screw it. I'm going to take it easy today and get ready for this show today. So we're waiting for Lloyd. Lloyd is taking care of things with his wife Beauty. He'll be here momentarily. So let's say hello to a few folks in the chat. We got Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger. Good to see you. Steve Knowles over on the other side of the pond over there in jolly old England.
Oh.
And we got Chris Wedgeworth. And first time this person's been here, TJ, all the way down in Florida. He's here for the first time. And we also got Dominic Papa Sergio, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We also got see, did you we got Chris Wedgeworth.
Right? Yes.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't.
Yep. Chris
Okay.
Wedgwood. Yep. Mm-hmm. All the way from that other blue state called California.
Oh boy.
Lloyd's the only one that's in a red state on this panel here.
We should form a commune
So,
or something.
yeah. Oh, hey, we got Lee
Oh, hey, Lee.
Beesing all the way from Texas. Another red state. Good to see you, Lee. Yellow Rose Drones. Good to see you. Awesome. So let's get this started while we're waiting for Lloyd. A little bit of news happening over there in Eastern Europe. There's been a coup attempt in Russia. So what's going on there, Charles?
Well, I was reading about that yesterday on the Daily Mail.
Right.
Or trying to read about it because they just stretched it out for forever with an enormous number of photos, but apparently well, I can't pronounce. I'm not sure if I can pronounce this guy's name.
Oh, it's the Wagner group.
Well, yeah, the Wagner group, but it's led by somebody with his last name begins with P. So
yeah,
I don't remember how it's spelled, and I'm not sure if I can pronounce it. So
Prigozhin.
for the moment, Yeah, okay. Well, for the moment, we'll just call him Mr. P to make it simple. So I guess this Mr. P has got himself together this Wagner group, which is a huge number of
Yeah.
mercenaries,
Yep.
and they're marching on Moscow to try and take the capital. And they've made tremendous progress because nobody's opposing them.
Right.
You know, he's been talking about how they just walk into places and, you know, nobody gets killed. There's no fighting. People are just kind of like, we're not going to stop you.
Right.
So I don't, in a way, I don't know what to think about all this.
Yeah.
Because
I think this group, these guys they're just tired of fighting in Ukraine. And I think they've had enough. And they said, well, we need a regime change. And so they went on marching to Moscow, and evidently on the way, or just ahead of them, the Russians had been tearing up the highways. So that was slowing them down. And so they made a deal. They said, all right, we'll drop all criminal charges, and you could go to Belarus. We won't. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean,
yeah,
you
I
know how
hadn't heard
Putin
anything
is.
about that.
Yeah, so he'll go to Belarus, and he'll probably be assassinated by Putin's henchmen. So, hey, let's welcome all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's my partner in crime. It is Lloyd Mendenhall.
Hey, Lloyd.
Hello, Art. Hey, Charles. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. Sorry about that, but just as I was fixing my coffee, it didn't finish making, so I had to run back down the hall because Judy was watching the movie, and it was on DVD, which meant when it ran out, I was going to have to change it. And the one she wanted, I couldn't find the DVD to anymore, so I'm going to have to look for that one. So I found one and got it started and came back up here and finally sat down.
Good.
All right. So we were talking about the coup attempt in Russia. What are your thoughts, or what have you heard about it?
Well, basically, what I heard, I listened a little bit of what you're saying. Yeah, he's a dead man walking. You know, it's just a matter of time that Putin's not going to put up with that, and I'm afraid that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better over in Russia because of that. He was that guy was ticked off because the general in charge of the army was targeting his people, accidentally, of course, but it was because the guy didn't, the general doesn't seem to know what he's doing. So this guy that ran, I forgot what it's called now, Wagner Group.
Wagner Group.
Yeah. He decided it was time to get rid of that general and do something about it. And that was his, I don't think he really planned to take out Putin, but if that would have been the case, that would have been it. He would have.
Right.
But he realized he was outnumbered, So he's just a dead man walking, He'll mysteriously disappear in Belarus somewhere, and that'll be the end of it.
Right.
And it won't change a thing when it comes to the Ukraine, because they didn't, had he attacked Moscow, they would have had to pull some troops back out to defend Moscow, but because he stopped, 120 kilometers from it, it didn't affect anything. No troops had to be pulled out. So,
right.
Yeah,
and I heard about this last night, and I think it was during my show, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check that out, and that'd be a cool little topic for Sunday.
Yeah, I heard about it yesterday evening or afternoon.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, me too.
So I mean, what a turn of events in the last few hours or couple days.
Yeah.
It was. Of course, I'm of the opinion we shouldn't be sending all of our stuff to the Ukraine anyways. I feel that us being involved in the Ukraine war is just a cover up for just to cover up for Hunter Biden, and they want to get rid of all the evidence that might be over there, and that's okay. Let them blow Ukraine up. Well, we're going to help them, but it's just and again, it comes back to the fact that we suddenly are looking over at Russia, which instead of looking at China, which is where we need to be looking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So,
and it also takes heat off of Hunter Biden and and this is going to be our next topic, Adam Schiff. And
Shifty Schiff.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yep. We'll call him Schiff for brain.
Yeah, Schiff for brains. Yeah, he has no. He has. I forgot what the word was I was going to use. Anyway, he has no
integrity?
shame. He has no integrity, but he has no shame. Yeah. He came out bragging like it was a badge of courage. That just goes to show you how deluded those people are on the left. That's the.
As if you couldn't already tell by looking in his eyes.
Yeah.
I mean,
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he's kind of a squirrely looking guy too. I mean,
it's like
you look at a lot of those Democrats. I mean, they are an odd looking bunch. Like Nadler, it's like he reminds me of Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah,
the penguin.
The penguin. Yeah.
Yep. I'm waiting for him to start eating a raw fish at the hearing.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But no, they what they did with Schiff, it doesn't amount to a whole hill of beans. It's not going to, because he was taken off of all of his committees anyways.
Right.
And but he's still out there spewing, even though they've already released information showing that it was complete. Even the special counsel came out and said the FBI, this is strictly political. DOJ and the FBI, it was all politics, and they were getting their information from Hillary. Nothing has been done about it, but and Schiff is still out there saying the same thing that he has said all along. He hasn't quit lying. He's not apologetic. I mean, he told lies. That's why he got censured for the stuff that he was lying about. And he hasn't changed, and they're not going to.
And wasn't there a fine that he was going to pay, or did they take?
They had to drop that. They want to give him a $16 million fine.
Yeah,
and about 20 Republicans voted against that.
Yeah.
And so they brought it back up again, but without the fine. So, it was a slap on the wrist as far as I'm concerned.
Considering what censoring is supposed to be, I mean, yes, it does remove him from all the committees, but doesn't it also sort of like strike every word he says from the record? That it's almost like he doesn't exist now officially.
Yeah,
I
think
say anything he wants, but it's never entered into the record. It's never paid any attention to.
Yeah. I think it's something like that. There's not been a lot of censures done that I can remember of.
Well, I mean, just recently the Democrats really censored that Arizona Congressman Paul Gossard.
Yeah.
Goes over a picture on Twitter.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Yeah, I think what the Republicans did is more of what it should have been used for. Not what in the Democrats, that's what they've been doing. They've been taking every little thing they can find and using it as a political attack, foundation, something, foundation for all their political attacks. Weaponizing all of it,
Yep.
And I don't know when it's. I don't know what's going to quit. I remember I saw this. Let's see if I can tell this story right. This is about sort of relates to dealing with the liberals. There is a donkey and a tiger arguing. The tiger says the sky is blue. The donkey says it's green. I know it's green. I can see it's green. No, it's blue. And they argued and argued and argued, and they finally went to the king of the jungle, which was the lion. And the donkey presented his. He says, I say it's green because the sky is green. And the tiger says, everybody knows he's wrong, that donkey is wrong. How you got to side with me. So then the lion, the king of the beasts, thought about it for a few minutes. He says, I agree with the donkey. The sky is green. And donkey walks off bragging, and, he's all happy and everything. And the tiger looks at him and says, but sire, you know that the sky is blue. He says, well, of course. He says, but you are one of the most magnificent beasts in the jungle. You're one of the strongest warriors. And you spent days arguing with a jackass about the color of the sky. And then went so far as to bother me with it. Says, you're not going to change the jackass's mind. So there's no point of arguing with him. So just side with him and he'll go away, happy in his own little world. That's what it's like arguing with these liberals now. They're jackasses, and no matter what you do, no matter how many facts you point to them, they'll not change. It's so entrenched in their ideology, Yep. And I read that the other day, and I just died laughing. I thought, oh my God, that is the truth. You can't argue with a jackass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In his ideology.
Sadly, for me, it took me years to realize that.
Yeah, well, I still have problems with certain people. I still argue with them, even though I'm going to, I have to stop and remind myself of the tiger and the donkey story. It's just, I thought that was a good illustration. They're so, you can't not change their ideology. Mm-hmm. All you can do is act better and react better and educate the people that have not, fallen under the hypnotic trance of the woke liberal.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I've on Twitter. I follow this guy. He's a former radio host here in Denver. He used to be on it was a duo where his partner Dan Caplis was the conservative and Craig Silverman is the liberal. But when they were together, he presented his ideas, but he wasn't shrill. Now he's on Twitter and he's just going off on Donald Trump and MAGA and now he's saying that fascism is right wing. I'm like, going, really? And then I looked it up, and I'm like, going, yeah, who wrote those definitions? Those were all liberals. They're all trying to change. Fascism was an ideology which controlled government.
Yeah.
And I look at politics as a line on a scale. You go farther right you go, the smaller the government. Farther left you go, the bigger the government. And I think most of America is in the middle, slightly to the right.
Yeah.
So to look at these definitions of fascism, because he was going on and on about fascism, and I said, you don't know what you're talking about. He goes, yeah, I do. When I saw January 6th and those people rioting at the Capitol, that's fascism. I just rolled my eyes and I just I let it slide. And I was thinking about, kind of rebutting it. And then after...
What about, you look at that and they argue that, that's fascism. What about when the Bolsheviks, attacked the Tsar and when they rioted and when they took over the country?
Right.
They are not, they're socialists. They're on, they're liberals in that from that point of view. So Doesn't
Well, how
and yet
about
you call them
BLM?
fascists. Yeah,
Antifa. Yeah.
Antifa. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's funny that the group that's called the Antifa stands for anti-fascist, and they're more fascist. I mean,
Yeah.
they they're like the black shirts or the brown shirts from
Yep.
1932. You know,
Hmm.
in Europe and in England. You know.
Yeah, they don't
Hmm.
remember that Antifa was really a response to Nazi Germany.
Yes. Yes.
They've
Hmm.
forgotten that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Because fascism is the belief that the organizing property for society, all of society, is to make war.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And,
If you guys get a chance, of course, you have to read it. I mean, you watch it, but you have to read it.
mm.
But if you guys get a chance, you need to watch the movie Downfall.
Downfall. Oh yeah, I've seen clips of it on
Well, that's the
YouTube.
one where they get they have Hitler and they do all these retranslations of what he said.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't give me a Diet Coke? Something like
Oh,
that.
Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
that
But
one. Oh yeah, with the bunker scene where they're always. Oh
Yep.
God, so many
Yeah.
hysterical.
watch that whole movie though, and you look at that, and you look at what his beliefs were, and you look at what we're seeing coming out of the left now, and some of this
Hmm.
crap, like the January 6th committees and stuff.
Hmm.
They've got to. It makes you stop and say, man, this is where we're headed right here. I
Yeah.
don't know who the
Hmm.
Hitler character is going to be, but uh, you know, here's another thing I saw. Obama is really playing this. I think he's the puppet master myself, but it's my personal opinion. That's not the opinion of this channel. So don't strike this channel just because I say something I believe. But he plays, he controls the left and he does his things, his machinations back behind the scenes,
Hmm.
running the little puppet and doing the ventriloquist act with Biden. But yet he comes out as the peacemaker. Well, I think the left is just taking things a little too seriously. They're just a little. They don't know how to have fun. They don't. He's trying to like. Uh, they've gone maybe too far. And yet he's
Yep.
back there stoking the fire. Throwing logs
Hmm.
on the fire.
And,
You know.
and plus, he's the one that started a lot of this stuff. You know,
Yeah. First
I
first
think
two
it
weeks in the White
really
House.
got started right after Bill Clinton's uh, tenure, and
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
George Bush became president, and then it was all of a sudden, after 9/11, when we had that brief unity in this country.
Yeah.
That's when they started attacking George Bush and Cheney and just about every Republican.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's I mean, you and I have talked in private, and I've said it before to a lot of people. A lot of this problems happen. I think George W. brought on us because he chose such a decrepit old fart with a bad heart to be his vice president. I
Yep.
look at the vice president as the guy who can take over when the president can't, you know, and that includes when his time is up in office.
Right.
There should be
Hmm.
somebody there who can fill those shoes or maybe even do a better job than him.
Hmm.
And I think that was George W.'s fault, was
Yep.
or his problem was because he didn't want somebody who might come behind him and actually be a better president than he was. So he
Yeah,
picked
that's a
a
good point.
decrepit old
Good point.
codger that wasn't going to be able to
Hmm.
run. He didn't care. Once he got out of office, they could all go back to drinking drinking coffee and swapping stories with the rest of the ex presidents.
Right. Hmm. Hmm.
And but I don't think he wanted anybody who would come in and do a better job than him. In his
Right.
mind, his legacy, because his dad got his legacy got cut short because, you know, uh, read my lips, no new taxes. That
Yep.
that whole situation. And
Yep.
then George W. comes along and he gets nothing against Dick Cheney. I mean, really, uh, but he wasn't the right guy for that. His job was to find somebody. It's like saying you hired and you're paid $200,000 as a uh, uh, somebody to give your opinion on things, and at the end of it, you say, are you going? I need that cash advance, so they give you $200,000, and then you spend, you know, $30 going over a couple of want ads in the paper to see anybody's looking for a job, and then you say, I couldn't find anybody that's qualified as me, and because you've already paid me $200,000, I'll only do it for half that. I'll just take whatever vice president gets. That's kind of the way Dick Cheney did, I think.
Mm.
And George W. says, yeah, somebody who's done this before. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing.
Hey, he was only governor of Texas, the second largest state in the country.
Yeah, well, I've lost a lot of respect for George W. because
I know, especially when he got all chummy with the Clintons and
then the
became
Obamas,
partners with that Clinton Global Initiative, which was a huge sham of a business.
And this is what we've got to be careful of. You know, let's say Trump doesn't get indicted or doesn't get prosecuted or anything like that, and he ends up being able to become the president. We got to make sure before we vote for this guy that he has somebody in position to take over, because, as I said, he's a lame duck president.
Right.
And we don't want him picking somebody like Kamala, you know, like.
Right. I don't know. There's no chance of that. I think most likely it's going to be Tim Scott or Nikki Haley. And possibly DeSantis if he doesn't beat him up too badly.
Yeah.
Or Christie. I almost said Crispy.
Yeah, I don't think. God, I hope it's
He's
not.
He's kind of the Howard Taft of the party.
Yeah, but Christie just he's all over the place. I just don't know where. 1 minute, when he was running the first time, against Trump, he was like, "Oh, Trump's this, Trump's that, Trump's this, Trump's that," and then he said, "Oh, well, I'm not going to win. Trump's the greatest guy I ever met. I'm going to stand behind him." And then at the end, it's like, after it's all over, I never did trust Trump.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And somebody who's that wishy-washy, I don't want.
Well, I mean, former governor of New Jersey, kind of a blue state, you get. Just like Mitt Romney, he was governor of Massachusetts. And he's the one that presented us the architect of Obamacare.
Yeah.
And now he's a senator from Utah.
Yeah. I mean, we need somebody who can balance from the far right to the center to slightly to the left. We need somebody who can do that. But we don't need somebody who tries to change his opinion from day to day depending on what the polls are. Oh, I love Trump. I hate Trump. No, Trump's okay. Yeah, he's all right. I'm going to run against him. But if I lose, I want to be his VP. No, I don't need somebody like that. That's
well,
that's not.
Who knows if he could be on his cabinet? I mean, he could be the head chef.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe he can get a job as a White House chef.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I wouldn't want that. I'd be scared that he would. Food. Yeah, I'd want him to be the food tester. I wouldn't want him to be the cook.
Yeah.
We'd have another.
He kind of reminds me of that guy in what was one of the Monty Python movies where the guy just kept eating until he exploded.
Oh yes, yes. I can't remember the character name. I can't remember the character name, but I remember the Monsieur. It is only wafer thin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well. Yeah. So I mean, this whole. I can say, they're talking about, Trump could actually be running from a jail cell. He could actually be running for president from a jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
And that has happened in history.
Yeah. Especially in Oklahoma.
No, it happened. It didn't happen in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about Debs?
Yeah, Eugene V. Debs. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He actually pulled down some electoral votes while he was serving in a federal penitentiary. Yeah.
Interesting.
He was a socialist. He was a socialist.
Yep.
I'm named after him, and my middle name is neither Eugene or Victor, so
Right.
I'm actually named after my dad, who my grandfather named after that guy.
Ah,
So I got my dad's middle name. It's like
okay.
my grandfather was a people's worker member, so
Oh.
early, early farm workers, agricultural workers from the
Ah, okay.
from the deep south. The labor workers, whatever they called them. They were, like
Were they Grangers?
yeah, something along that line. Well, he was a Granger, I know, but his beliefs were socialistic. He was a socialist with the farm
Mm-hmm.
workers, and you know, never made a dime in farming. I mean, every time he moved from Oklahoma to New Mexico and back again, because he'd get he'd get to Oklahoma, and of course, when he'd show up, the last crop of cotton had sold really high, so he moved all of his family out here to Oklahoma, and by the next season, the cotton crop had bellied out. Did a nosedive. So then he finds out that in New Mexico, the peanut crop is just sold outrageously high. So he packs everybody up, moves them back to New Mexico, and he gets there and plants his peanut crops. And then the peanut stock market the price of peanuts drops to nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
he could never, he never quite timed it right.
That's right.
So
So, what else is going on in the political realm other than we got? I've been watching Gutfeld lately, and the five, and uh, uh,
I haven't seen any of those guys. I
yeah,
haven't watched
I
any of the YouTube
I
stuff or
check.
anything lately.
Hmm. And Gutfeld actually, he gets some funny comments on there,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He is
and
funny.
so what was the oh, they were talking about on five. They were talking about uh, Lindsey Grimes. She testified in Congress about trans people, guys. Uh,
Yeah,
winning all these competition, and
Yep.
these guys get to use the ladies' locker room, and the gals, they feel very uncomfortable, and it's like it figures, the Democrats. I remember when feminism was the thing. Now they're all about it's man, a bunch of
But
white
in the
men.
worst way, in a completely wrong way.
Yep.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because it still goes back to the demasculization of men, because that's what feminism was. They didn't need a man. Well, now they've got men that are being women. They've convinced men that they aren't needed anymore, and the only way these men seem to feel needed is if they become a woman. So they've you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, in another 10 years, when the population has a major drop, they're going to wonder what in the hell happened to the population drop.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we dying out so soon? Why aren't there new babies being born? Because all the men have got their wellies whacked.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just like uh, we.
I
I
mean,
was
I
just
could see the TV commercials. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you're feeling a little feminine, get the Moil Maker by Hasbro.
yeah,
We'll not only take a 10% off the cut, hey, we'll take the whole thing. We'll
yeah.
even
It's
supply you with a shot of Novocaine.
yeah. And this is how ridiculous it's gotten. We were watching. Judy was watching a movie. It's called "Is Bride and Prejudice." It's based off of Jane Austen's, but it's a Bollywood American combination. American goes to
Right?
India. Well, they have a group of people, because they used to have a caste system. In India,
Yep,
they've done
that's
away with
right.
that about 80 years ago, or
Yep.
so. But they still have segmented sections, and one of their sections that is it's a very highly recognized group of people, and those are transgenders, cross-dressers,
Oh,
and they actually have their own union over
oh,
there. They aren't what it is they they go around and they belong to this group or this union or whatever it is that they've got, this business organization. And when they see a wedding going on, they show up, knock on the door, and say, "We're here for wedding entertainment." And they come in and they dance, and nobody, and of course they get paid. Each one of them gets paid a tip. It started out as tips, now it's a regular set fee. But the reason nobody turns them away is because it's considered bad luck to turn them away. So, and these people have helped perpetuate that. Remember when so and so down the block didn't invite us in, and you saw how that marriage turned out? Yeah, they've perpetuated the myth, and they've turned it into a full-time business. They're not out trying to get kids. They're not out trying to find children. They're a group of people that live their own life. They're recognized by their society, and they go on about their business. And they appear in Bollywood films, and they appear at weddings, and But it's not this. They're not trying to live in a. I'm sure at night when they get undressed, they do whatever most of them aren't married because that wouldn't. But they accept that as part of society, but they don't make a thing out of like what we're doing is trying to turn men into women, physically.
right. Mm-hmm.
With and this whole thing about these people competing, these transgenders are taking hormones, and I thought that was against most intercollegiate sport rules.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's true. And now with the kids, are giving them puberty blockers and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, let's wait about 20, 30 years and let's see what kind of consequences happen after that. We're going to have a lot of really screwed up people.
We've already got a bunch of screwed up people.
They're finding out that psilocybin is good for a depression. So, hey, now that it's legal here in Colorado, we can help out those depressed people and say, hey, dude, have some mushrooms. Are you feeling depressed? Have some of it.
Yeah, and the whole thing is it's just just look at how bad in the last 10 years now probably is as marijuana and stuff has become legalized and more states are legalizing other drugs. Society has gone from bad to really, really bad, and it's because half the people are stoned. They don't care. They listen, whatever, man, and well, here, take this. You're feeling like a woman today, aren't you? I don't care, man, and they hand them this and suddenly.
Pretty.
Yes, exactly. And, and they're, you look in the news and see how evil some people are that are, that are out there right now. And I'm thinking, all these drugs are supposed to make everybody feel happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Charles, were you looking at art, or were you just looking off camera?
No. I heard a rumble, and then I was kind of looking out the window.
Yeah, I said evil, and you look over. Yeah, I said evil.
No,
and you look like okay.
My evil Chuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. And I'm kind of like assessing. Do I have to tell them that I might get kicked off, or? Well, no, we only got 15 minutes left. Hopefully, I can make it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of evil, the numbskulls here in the Democrat legislature. We had some people that were on death row here, and now they got rid of the death penalty. They're talking about paroling these people. I'm like going, you gotta be kidding. Nathan Dunlap, who executed his former co-workers at Chuck E. Cheese's, they want to parole that asshole? You gotta be kidding. How about the guys that murdered
At the
State
movie theater.
Senator Rhonda Fields' son and future daughter-in-law?
What happened to that guy
30-year-old? Oh yeah, that's gonna
What
work.
happened to the guy that shot up the Arvada Theater?
Oh yeah, he got life because this was
Oh,
at the time where I think the death penalty was uh, taken away. So he got a well, I'm not sure if he got a life sentence, but he got a lengthy sentence.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that had orange. His hair was orange, and I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but now we're still putting them down like crazy down here in Oklahoma. We just,
Yeah. Well, what you need, Lloyd, down there is you need not an electric chair, but an electric couch. And you get knocked
yeah.
out a bunch at a time.
Well, yeah, it could be, maybe we could go over to Fort Smith, right in the center of Fort Smith. They've got like a 6 or 9 gallows rack of,
Oh,
9
yeah.
spot gallows over there that we could borrow it from them, bring it over, and clear out death row pretty
There
quickly.
you go. Yeah, but you gotta do it humanely. That's why they brought in lethal injection. And then I'm hearing from that, even that could be painful because if you got some guy who's been shooting up drugs all their lives, so they don't have any decent veins to put the
Yep.
chemicals in, and
Yeah.
they get if one of those chemicals gets out of sync, and they get the kind that just burns up their arteries, that could be worse than the electric chair.
Yeah. Yeah. It's there. The death penalty. There's no humane way. Somebody's going to die. But
Mm-hmm.
should they be released on society? Absolutely not.
Right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we've that reminds me again of that movie Downfall. In the end, as they were approaching the last 2 or 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
one of the henchmen for Hitler, him and his wife, they brought their kids to the bunker,
Right.
and the kids, they want to say hello to Uncle Adolf, before it was too late. He just killed himself. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the doctor mixed up a concoction for the children to let them rest so that they could not have to witness everything that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave each one of these kids a shot, and they fell asleep. And then the mother went through and had a whole handful of brass pill containers, and she put a pill in each one of their mouths. They bit down on it, and they quit breathing. And they were dead. They killed all 6 of their kids, and then went out and killed
Yep.
themselves.
Yeah, that
It's
would
like
be Goebbels.
Goebbels. Yeah, I thought I was going to say Goebbels, but I couldn't remember because I was But yeah, I mean the inhumanity of and of course we've just seen something just about that bad here in Oklahoma, where that guy who was on the sex offender registry had been
Right.
let out because he was being held on. He was supposed to be arrested on one thing, but the paperwork lagged behind, and so he was let out with the thought that he was going to come here to Muskogee County instead of just being transferred from Tulsa to Muskogee like he should have been. They let him out. And then on the day that he didn't show up here in Muskogee, they issued a warrant for him, and they started looking for him. And in the meantime, they had discovered that he was with his family, and 2 of his daughter's best friends came over, and he had killed all of them. He killed the 2 innocent girls that were just visiting their friend. He killed his wife, his daughter, his son, and then himself.
Mm.
And just because he got let out because somebody didn't, they didn't get something coordinated or something like that.
Wow.
If that, and that's evil. That shows you. And this is the kind of people they're wanting to let out from.
Yep.
in Colorado.
Yeah, and I think it cheapens life because
It does.
they just they don't want to take care of the problem because you know they're not going to kill me. I'm going to get out and I can do whatever I want, and they're
Yeah.
not going to do nothing. So, and it
Yeah.
also takes the death penalty off the table when they give these people a plea deal. Say, hey, plead guilty to life in prison or face a possible death sentence.
Yeah.
So,
And if they do now, if they take that off the table, they don't have to plead guilty. They
yep,
might have a sharp lawyer that can find a technicality to get them off of, and it's like,
right? Mm-hmm.
it's society, and well, I mean, just this whole. And I know some of us have already made a few jokes about it, but about the implosion of that craft.
Right,
It shows how callous we are about life.
right.
That
Mm-hmm.
while it's missing or within an hour of them saying they're all dead, the memes started.
Yeah.
It's our society is gone to hell in a
It,
handbasket,
I'm,
and the liberals are leading the charge.
mm-hmm. And those people probably didn't know what happened because it
No,
probably happened so quickly.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
they're not going to find body parts because
no,
with that implosion, probably vaporized their body and
yeah,
liquefied them. That once the crap blew open, their whatever
yeah.
was left is just going to float into the ether. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not expecting to find anything there. It's just, I
yeah,
mean,
just debris and maybe clothing, shoes, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's sad. It's,
it is sad. I mean,
yeah.
uh,
But there's
I've
going to
got
be
a.
lawsuits about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's going to be that company has just went bankrupt. You know,
Yep.
they don't know. They don't. They may not know it yet, but they have. They're bankrupt, and
Mm.
they'll because and that goes to show you.
And the
Hang on just a second.
designers will
Yeah,
be
I need to step out for a
hit
minute.
with criminal. Oh, all right. We don't have to hear the dogs bark. So, wow, we tore right through those topics pretty fast. I thought, yeah, well, those are pretty weighty. We could talk about it, and it's like, and all of a sudden we were talking about a submarine. I'm not talking about the yellow submarine.
Yeah, well, we covered what we could cover pretty efficiently.
Yes, that's right. And so, you know how on Facebook they have Facebook memories, and one of them
Yep.
popped up today. It was I had a quote that I made up about libertarians. Voting libertarian is kind of like buying a car without an engine. You know, I mean, you could drive it, but it won't go anywhere. But now you can say the same thing about the Republican Party
Yeah.
here in Colorado. I mean, we have enclaves of red counties where we'll have a few uh, state reps, state senators from those red districts, but it's just overwhelmingly Democrat now, and it's like that. Now we're seeing the results from that. We repealed an amendment, the Gallagher Amendment, and our property taxes went up 38%.
Wow.
And now they're trying to trick us with this proposition on the ballot that'll only give us a little bit of that much because we have Tabor here. Any
You have what?
excess over revenue gets sent back to the taxpayer. Well,
Oh,
they're trying to use smoke and mirror to to get rid of Tabor because they think they know what's best about taxation instead of letting the people vote on taxes. So that's why we didn't want to end up like California where they have huge deficits and wreck their budget.
We'll see.
Yep. So that was passed back in the 90s, and they've been working on trying to get rid of Tabor for years. And one way that they put a big dent in Tabor was because we had many secessions of Democrat governors that appointed liberal judges. Democrats got a bright idea. Oh, we could raise taxes, but we won't call them taxes. We'll call them fees. And guess what?
Oh, yeah.
Those liberal state Supreme Court, they said, "Oh no, it's not tax. It's a fee." So they started piling on fee after fee after fee, and the especially for registrating our cars have gone way up. And look who's back.
Yeah, she about fell.
Uh-oh.
I was watching her in the monitor. She was approaching the monitor, and then she disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Then one of the dogs came in and nudged me, and I thought, okay, fortunately, she fell into the laundry basket, so it caught her, Like, oh, crap. That's why I said, I got to go.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, well, at least she's not president of the United States.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those darn sandbags. They just jump out in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, having somebody that old for president.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't want the job, even though I am running.
Mm-hmm.
But
The VP?
yeah, I'm younger. Yeah, we are running, but we're younger than, I think our ages put together, we're younger than Biden.
Yeah.
Isn't he like as old as dirt? He's old as dirt and twice as dusty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, is he actually the oldest president on record, or was
He
there
will
somebody?
be if he wins re-election. The only other one that's close would have been Reagan.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember which one was oldest.
Let me Google that. Oldest president.
Yeah. So.
Oldest president in history would be James Polk.
Really?
Oh, wait a minute. 10 oldest U.S. president. Okay. Let's see.
And Polk was being in between Tyler and Taylor.
Right. John Adams, who's number 10. Okay, and I know Andrew Jackson, number 7. Dwight Eisenhower. Zachary Taylor was 64. George H.W. Bush was 64 at inauguration. James Buchanan, 65. William Henry Harrison, 68. Ronald Reagan, 69. And, oh boy. Donald Trump is number 2. He was 70.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And Joe Biden, 78. Yes, he is the oldest president. Wow.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we managed to blow through an hour doing some presidential trivia, and we talked about the submarine and the death penalty, and
Ruskies.
we talked about the coup.
Ruskies, yeah.
Yep. And what else did we talk about after the coup? I forgot what we were talking.
I can't remember now.
Shifty Schiff.
Oh,
Shifty
yes.
Schiff, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
censoring, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Well, everybody in the chat, thanks for coming. You all have a great day, and we'll catch you next week, which is just before Independence Day. So
Yes. Yeah.
have a great week, and catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, folks.